Looking to get the edge when betting on the ponies? Get access to all of SIG'S reports now through the Belmont Stakes for only $169. You will get approximately 5 sheets per week for the next 15 weeks at $75 $9 reports. That comes out to a $675 value if purchased daily, saving you $506, and you'll have total access to SIG's horse racing selections through Derby prep season, the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome back here to WagerTalk TV. It is time to talk some hockey. Looking forward to it today. And today, well, it's just myself and my partner in crime. We got Carmine, Bianco alongside, just the two of us. So, Carm, what's up, man? How's it going, brother?
It's going good, man. Yes, unfortunately, Cokin, who is our Friday guest, could not make it today, but we've got you covered, guys, so not a problem. Maybe this allows us to, I think there's 6 games, and we were going to cover 5. If we can zip through this, Andrew, maybe we'll touch on that 6th game as well.
Definitely. It saves some time for us, and yeah, we love having Cokin on the show, but something came up, so we'll get things going, just go through things with Carmine and I, and we'll dive right into the games. And we're going to go through the games right now, but just to let you guys know what we are talking about for today, it's going to be the Wild and the Coyotes, Capitals, Bruins, Blues, Kings, Lightning and Blackhawks, and the Ducks and the Avalanche. And hopefully we'll get to that Vegas game if we do have time to go. Guys, just want to let you guys know that both Carmine and I are running super, super hot right now, and you can still grab that promo from us using that coupon code BIG100 to take $100 off our 30-day all-access pass. And that pass is not just for hockey, it's for everything. For college hoops, NBA, soccer, you name it, UFC as well. It's all included in that package. Carm, let's get started here with the Wild and the Coyotes in their game. And I guess I'll just throw it to you with this. The Wild had their big winning streak. They looked pretty strong. They run into Vegas, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, slow down a little bit. Watch out where you're going. But I still have to ask you, where do these two teams stand to you as far as your power rankings of the division? Because to be honest with you, the Wild have looked good, but they haven't looked that much better to me to be a minus 140. Goaltending has been crazy for the Coyotes.
It has, but I do think the Wild deserve this 140 price. It's probably the ceiling, 140, 145 of what I want to bet on it as far as this goes. Listen, this is the first meeting between these two teams this year, and yeah, the Wild, after that 6-game win streak, they dropped one in OT that they probably should have won, but for your sake, it's probably good that they lost that game. And then Vegas played an absolutely phenomenal game. I talked heading into that game that, Vegas has, they have some spurts during the game where they seem to shut it off, and they allowed like a couple back-to-back goals within a minute, twice in that previous game. But they played a damn good game to beat Minnesota 5-1. Now we switch over. The venue switches to Arizona. And as far as my power rankings go, listen, it was always going to be Vegas and Colorado as the top 2 teams. The Blues are getting healthy. They're getting bodies back. And we're going to talk about it a little later on in the segment. But we could see one of my favorite guys to watch, Tarasenko, back tonight. If he doesn't play tonight, he's going to play on the weekend. But I'm hoping he's in the lineup tonight. Minnesota's the 4th best team in that division. They're gonna get a playoff spot. I just don't see how the Kings, the Ducks, or the Sharks or Arizona beats them out of that. So these are games that Minnesota has to win. These are the games where they have to win in regulation time. Don't give a team like Arizona points. You take them from the teams that you need to take them from, and this is one of the teams they need to take them from. Off of 2 games in Vegas, I see a bounce back here for this Minnesota side. So give me the Wild at minus 140 tonight.
Yeah, and Carm, I don't know if you saw the goals that got scored on from the LA Kings. I mean, these Coyotes goals weren't very good against the LA Kings in their last game. It was actually just bad giveaways from LA, a couple lucky bounces and stuff like that. And of course, a Wild team coming off 2 tough games against a really tough, division foe or top of the division foe. So it's a bounce back spot for them. They kind of want to say, hey, look, we couldn't get it done against the top team, but now we're playing the Coyotes. Antti Ranta has been outstanding. Kemper's been outstanding. I've been riding the overs with the Wild, but as far as a total perspective go, guys, I'll be looking at the under in this game. Our next game up, we're talking about the Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals. First of all, Carm, did you see that spear from Ovechkin on Frederick? I mean, that was just ridiculous. Any other player in the league does that, they're getting suspended. This guy gets fined $5,000, which is nothing to those athletes. I expect a lot of animosity. I expect a lot of penalties, aggression in this game. But I got to say that this Bruins team has kind of been a little bit of a letdown this year. They, as far as their goal scoring capability, I feel like the only way I look at this game is going to be the over. This is, of course, our marquee matchup, but I'm not really prepared to look at this from a side standpoint because I said it on our last show, Carm. I really think that we saw so much depth from this team in the past 2, 3, 4 years. It's why they were so successful getting to a playoff spot, getting into the playoffs. But for right now, it still seems to me like it's that Pasta, Bergeron, and Marchand line that's being the only successful line. And I feel like right now, the only way they're going to snap out of it and have a really strong win is going to have to be in high-scoring fashion, Carm. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I hate to say this, Andrew. I think I'm going to disagree.
That's okay. See, that's what happens on the show when Carmine goes against me, Carmine disagrees with me. All of a sudden, the betting powers mute him. Look, so Washington gets the victory 2-1 in game one between these two teams. And like I said, I think that Boston right now, they're just not producing offensively. And people might call me crazy, and Carmine's probably about to call me
Chris,
crazy.
Can you hear me, Chris?
For saying that I like the over in this game. But when it comes down to it, between these two teams, the Bruins have to get it going. And I think when they do get it going, it'll be with a bang. Carm?
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Are we good? I'm not really
that's
sure
how
why that
that's what happens
happened.
when you disagree with me, Carm. You disagree with me and they
Yeah.
mute you.
I thought maybe it was one of our producers that that did that. But listen, getting back to it, listen, this Bruins team had to do something after those two games where they allowed 13 goals against the Islanders and the Rangers. They played a much better defensive game against the Rangers next time out, beat them 4-1. They were collapsing around the net, as I mentioned previously. And they played a really good, they played a good defensive game against this Washington team in that 2-1 game that went to overtime. It's a crapshoot, as you know, when it goes to 3-on-3, Andrew, in OT. I base it on what we see. And I think the shots on goal in that game were something like 28-19. So it was played as a much tighter game. And I expect to see something similar. Bruce Cassidy made some changes with this Bruins team, had them playing a little different. And I think they're gravitating back to the Boston team that we expect to see on the ice. With that in mind, 3 goals in that game. You probably would have thought there would have been a little bit more because you look at the first 2 games that were in Washington, and I think there were 5-3 and 4-3 score lines. They scored a lot of goals in those games. I didn't expect goals in those games. I expected them to be a little closer to what we saw here in that 2-1 game. And I expect some bounce back from the Bruins in this game. I think it's a good spot to come right back with the Bruins here at a short price and the under for me. So let's give this one a 3-2 Bruins win.
Well, I wouldn't cash my over, but I guess it would cash your tickets. Carl.
Sorry, man.
Our next game we're going to talk about, it has to happen sometimes. There's going to be some disagreement, and that's okay. Our next game, I think it's going to be interesting to talk about. Our line change game here. The Blues open up as -125. They're now -135. But it's funny because this LA team has actually been successful against the Blues so far in the year. And I feel like, Carm, every team in this division has had their streaks in their own way, whether it's been a 3-game win streak, 4, 5, 6 for the Wild. They've all had their own winning streaks. And the LA Kings had their own as well. But, we always say get on a team at the beginning of the streak, not near the end. And I've been riding this Blues team. 2 days ago, that was my only bet with the clients, was the Blues, and they got it done for me. Although they have some injuries, they have some guys not in the lineup, I still felt like they weren't meeting expectations, what I figured they were capable of doing. And now we're starting to see it. And also, if you looked at their schedule was much tougher than people were giving them credit for. And now they're playing some bottom feeders. if you looked at their schedule down the, next week or 2 or 3 weeks in this month of March, their schedule is light. They're playing the bottom feeders teams. They're avoiding the Colorados of the world, teams like that. So again, I feel like the fact that they played so poor in the first, I don't know, the past like month and a half, Carm, it gives us this good price on them tonight.
Yes, Andrew. It to use almost like one of those Christmas phrases. It warms the cockles of my heart to know that you're looking at advanced schedules for teams. I think that's fantastic because it's a good way. And I tell you, it's one of the simplest ways, but a good way of gauging whether a team is about to go on a win streak. If you're watching how they're performing, if they're losing some tight games to some very good teams and they have a good travel schedule, which in the West is in this year, all the travel schedules are good, but games spaced, a day or two apart, and against the bottom echelon of the bottom 3 or 4 in that division, you can put together those streaks. Listen, the Kings played well in putting together their win streak. Has it ended? Has the clock hit midnight for them in losing a couple games to the Wild and the Coyotes? Probably. They played respectable in those games, but they still lost those games. And now you're playing a Blues side that they treaded water thus far this year with the injury list that they have. And I've talked about it on previous ones. So not to disrespect them and say that they're not one of the better teams, but I still believe it's Vegas and it's Colorado. But they're right up there, but not with those two. And we could see Tarasenko back tonight, as I said. Again, as you get these bodies back, it is important for this team. As you'll see with any other team, you take away 1 or 2 of their top 2 line guys, and when you reshuffle those lines, it just doesn't work sometimes. So with that said, at the end of the day, we're getting a good price on the Blues tonight. I like the Blues tonight. It'll be, when we do our show best bets, it'll be factored into that. But give me the Blues tonight at a short price, minus 135. I think that line has value when I look at my original number here, and I had it at minus 150. So I'm getting 15 cents. To me, that's value.
To be quite honest, Carm, this kind of feels like the whole Florida thing yesterday, right? When I was on the show with you and I said, like, why don't we take this? Is this too good to be true? You look at a team that, although they only scored 3 against the Ducks in their second game, the Ducks are a great defensive team. They scored 7 against the Sharks. They're picking things up offensively. Nothing was really wrong with them besides just their ability to score late in games. Now they've kind of found that touch, and I think that in hockey, Brian talks about the term puck luck a lot. And I think that people kind of get him confused why he's saying that. And it's just because you could run into a hot goaltender. You could run into defensemen that are just locking up players that are really, really skilled. And I think that you're now starting to see the Blues get it together. So to your point about, thinking this line should be a lot more expensive, if they got even a couple more goals in a few of their games, their record looks way different.
And this is the thing, and as you mentioned, and we talk about puck luck, and I'll get to that in a second, but if you can actually get a team sort of at let's call it the beginning of a streak before books start to adjust the number accordingly. So you start to see the Blues, winning 4 or winning 5 or winning 6 in a row, and all of a sudden they're minus 145, they're minus 150, minus 155. Get them at the best price. And it's always why sometimes you have to shop and get that overnight number. You just can't wait till the morning because the number changes. It's just how it is. And to your point of puck luck, if you guys follow our Twitter account, the Puck Time One, I tweeted out the only in-game wager I made yesterday was the Flyers getting 2.5 goals at even money after they went down 3-0 to Pittsburgh. Again, if you want to use the phrase puck luck, if you look at the 3 Pittsburgh goals that were scored in the first 4 minutes of that game, one of them was a Philadelphia defenseman trying to bat a puck down in front of the net, and I think it ended up going into the net. The second one, or the third goal, was a player diving, I think it was his first goal, diving at the side of the net and sliding by the net, and the puck went off of his stick, broke his stick in half, and went into the net. That goes in one of 20 times maybe. That's puck luck. So the Philly wasn't playing as bad as it might have looked through the first 4 minutes, and getting 2.5 goals there, I thought was an absolute gift. And they actually came back and won the game, which was great for my clients.
And if it matters to anybody, St. Louis is 8-1 their last 9 on the road. So road and home splits are still a factor, even though there's not fans and they aren't really traveling too far. It's played a factor for this Blues team. They are not being bothered by playing on the road. And like Carmine mentioned, we do have our Puck Time Twitter account at PuckTimeWT. Both Carmine and I are pretty active on that, giving out some in-game wagers. I'm doing a lot of in-game totals like I've done over the past couple of years, and Carm killing it with that +2. Obviously, it looked like a great result for him. Our next game here is our dump or chase segment. It's going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning laying -195. The number continues to bounce around as they face the Blackhawks. Weird game, Carm. Weird game. I mean, didn't take much time. They go to overtime. They get the job done real quick. Tampa Bay does yesterday. But if you look at this Chicago team, again, I keep on saying this because maybe it's just me. So you tell me if it's you as well, Carm. I wasn't giving them as much respect to start the year. I wasn't. I had a good friend of mine, and he actually said, "Oh yeah, they're making the playoffs. They're gonna finish in 3rd or 4th in that division." I called him nuts. I said, "You're crazy for thinking that." And I think a lot of the credit has to go to the fact that this team has tried super hard to play a more defensive style of hockey. Sure, they've gotten carried away. We've seen some 5-2s. We've seen sometimes they've given up 6 goals. But in games they've been successful, Carm, they've done a great job of being defensive. You look at that last game, they allow a Tampa Bay Lightning team to score just 2 goals. The problem is I think it's, let me check. I think it's close to, it's like a 68%, something like that, win clip for Tampa Bay in games after they only score 2 or less goals. The win clip for them is ridiculous in games after they score short amount of goals, just 2 or less. So that's really the problem. It's a massive stat. I'll try and pull it up here, but that's just the problem. I think they bounce back. They scored 3, but when they in regulation, Carm. So I really feel like this team, although Chicago's playing better defense, they're going to bounce back here and maybe look for their team total over 3.5 or a puck line, because the Blackhawks got their lick in, but I don't think this is going to be a good showing for them tonight.
Yeah. I don't mean to disrespect the Chicago Blackhawk fans that are out there, because I keep talking about like regression coming and what have you with this team. They are playing well. Listen, they're 4th. And maybe to your friend's point, maybe a point can be made to your friend's thing that they could make the playoffs, only because if you look at the teams behind them, Columbus, Nashville, Detroit, Detroit's not going to make the playoffs, but you look at Columbus, Nashville, and Dallas, who are behind them, and you start to wonder, when are these teams going to actually start to play some good hockey? And you look at Dallas is in last place, but Dallas has played 6 fewer games than the Hawks have played. So at some point they'll start to catch up on those, and maybe they start to play better, but they still only have 6 wins to show through 18 games, do the Stars. As far as like last night's game,
it's hurt them big time, I think, Carm.
Yeah. As far as and it has. As far as last night's game goes, I'm obviously disappointed in the fact that the Lightning didn't get it done in regulation time. But listen, the Hawks played absolutely lights out hockey at the top of their level for 2 periods. But if you watch that game, and you can't dispute this, the tank was empty in the 3rd period. Tampa Bay was all over them, got a couple quick ones, and actually thought that they were going to win in regulation time. They had numerous chances to win that game. Tampa did in regulation time, got it done with milliseconds left in overtime to avoid the shootout, which I was kind of happy as well about, Andrew, as you know. But at the end of the day, this is a Chicago team that has allowed 71 goals thus far. Tampa, 41 goals, 30 goals more. You look at Carolina, 62 goals. You look at Florida, 64. 71 goals is a lot. You're not going to win games long-term where your plus minus for goals is +4. It's going to catch up to you at some point, and it could start tonight. So for me, I'm not going to dump this one because I like Tampa Bay. I might come back with Tampa Bay in regulation time again, or I may just take Tampa Bay puck line here and take the plus 130 and have them winning by a couple goals.
Carm, we've got one guy in here saying, tell Carm to just admit it. He's always dogging the Blackhawks. He said, admit it, they're a good team. You're always dogging them, but they're playing the Lightning. They're playing the Lightning,
a good
man.
Team. So they've allowed 71 goals. I'm sorry. You don't win playoff games later on allowing goals at almost 3 a clip a game. You're not going to win games that way. I'll tell you right now. At some point, the offense dries up, and if the defense doesn't tighten up, you're at the bottom of the standings with the Detroit Red Wings. So while they're not there now, they may be at some point. So you're saving grace.
And I guess
Hawks fans, listen, they're a good team. I enjoyed watching the Hawks. I just absolutely loved watching games when that stadium was filled with fans. It was a fantastic atmosphere. But their saving grace right now is that the fact that Nashville have a couple goalies that just aren't playing really well. Columbus are Columbus and don't win a lot of high-scoring games. And this Dallas team was affected by, as you said, the whole COVID thing, and just haven't played a lot of games and just haven't done absolutely anything yet.
Definitely. And it's super weird because I mentioned that they've been playing better defensive against some teams, and then you throw out that stat on me. So, I've noticed them actually playing better defensively, but then some games have just gotten out of hand. So, Carm, what I will say, just to kind of, rebuttal, is going to be the fact that, is that they're going to, some of those games are inflated, right? They might have one game where they gave up 7 or 8 goals. And then that kind of inflates those stats. Would you get what I'm saying there? I mean, if you have 1 or 2 games where you've allowed 6 or 7, it's going to change the results for the whole season.
But you can say that about every single team. You can say that about conversely. You can say that, this team had 3 shutouts in their past 12 games that brought down their goals against average. At the end of the day, it's a long long-term thing. Yeah, I understand. You're bringing down the number, whether it's inflating the number or bringing down the number. It absolutely works both ways, Andrew, as far as that's concerned. With me, anyways, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time I was wrong, people. Trust me. I'm 52, and I've been wrong on many occasions, but this is just one. In watching, I watched them yesterday, and they just let it. They look like the guy who runs the New York Marathon or the Boston Marathon, who goes out and sprints the first mile because he wants to be on TV. But then 18 hours later, he's crawling to the line trying to finish the marathon. And that was them last night. They sprinted out, played absolutely lockdown hockey for 2 periods, but the tank was empty. And I don't know whether the tank is going to be empty tonight because of last night's game. So we'll see.
I can always respect a good analogy, Carm, so I respect it. But our barn burner game here up next, we're talking about the Colorado Avalanche and the Anaheim Ducks. Total set at 5.5. And I've been looking forward to talking about this with you, Carm, because I'm a little bit on the fence. And the funny thing is, part of me wants to look at the over here, but I can't because it's the Anaheim Ducks. And I told myself at the start of the year, Andrew, bet unders in every Ducks game, every single game all year long for 56 straight games. And all of a sudden I'll have a down payment for a house. But I haven't done that. I haven't really just continuously done it, Carm. And they have barely gone over the total. And when they have gone over the total, it's been late collapses, And Colorado, they've been very inconsistent. I mean, if you look at it, one game they're allowing 4, the next game they're shutting a team out. So I don't really know how to have a read on this Colorado Avalanche team from a total standpoint. From the Ducks, it seems pretty easy, Carm. Sit back, watch a boring hockey game and take the under. And it's no disrespect saying this, but it's going to be kind of disrespect. When Maxime Comtois is one of your best goal scorers on your team, I'm sorry. It's not the best team. When he's on their top line, You've got a guy in SIG'S right now. They called him up. He's outstanding talent, but super young, rookie in the league. He's not going to carry the weight for them. I just don't see on a nightly basis where the offense comes from for the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Like, listen, they're mired in this 8-game losing streak. You can look at it that, they weren't blowouts, but at the end of the day, they're still it's still an 8-game losing streak, and they lost 9 of their last 10. Their one win was that, I think it was like a 1-0 win over the Golden Knights, if I remember correctly. But this Avs team is a very good team. I would want to find out if Makar is playing tonight. I know he had the upper body injury and he's questionable for tonight. I like them better, obviously, when they're in the lineup. But to your point of like totals and over-unders with Colorado, we always expect a team that has guys like McKinnon and Landeskog, these teams to score a ton of goals. If you don't get it from that first line, sometimes you don't get it from the secondary lines. So it's one of those things. And Colorado is more of a puck possession team. That's why I want a guy like Makar in the lineup. Anyways, I would stay away from the total here. I completely get your point, and I agree with you. You're going to win a lot more taking Anaheim unders than you are Anaheim overs, especially if this team isn't scoring. And Colorado does get 4 or 5 goals. It could very easily finish 4-1 type of game. Or with that said, my only play here would have to be Colorado, and you can't lay 250. I don't care if how good you think Colorado is or how much better a team they are than Anaheim. Just laying those numbers is just, if you lose a couple of them, you have to win a big amount of them long term. Like, I'm looking to see what the regulation line is on this, and that's probably inflated as well too. And it is minus 170 in regulation. So they're telling you where they expect this game to end, which is in regulation. With that said, is if you figure Colorado is going to win this game and they're going to win it in regulation, then you might as well take that puck line and take the puck line. And you have to get plus money. Never take negative money. And I think you can get a plus 105 still, but that plus 105 will be gone at some point. It'll just be even money or minus 105 on the puck line. This would have to be, if you're asking me, is this a dump or chase game? Because if it is, it's a dump for me. But if you put a gun to my head, it would be Colorado on the puck line, just because in regulation I don't want to lay 170 and I don't want to lay 250. You can do it out there, but it goes against my principle of how to bet NHL games of laying too much juice.
Yeah, Carmine, a phrase I've been using lately, and I'm not the best dancer in the world. I give it a try. I really try my best out there on the dance floor, but it takes 2 to dance. And when you're getting a total like this at 5.5, it might seem kind of intriguing, but I don't want the Ducks as my dance partner betting an over. That's for sure. If you're betting an over, you might as well just bet this Colorado team total over. And somebody mentioned in the group chat about what I said about Comtois in the live chat. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he should be the best player on your team. Just wanted to make that clear. Let's get into the power play segment here for us. The best bets on the show. The segment a lot of people wait for here on the show. And Carm, I'll go to you for your power play and any promos you have, man, for this weekend.
Yeah, this is probably a good time. And you'll see it in my ad copies for my Friday games. This is probably a good day to pick up the 3-day all sports, all access package. I have a soccer card going today. I swept yesterday's 2 EPL games. Soccer is absolutely on fire right now for me and going well. For the month so far, 12-3-1 for the month, and plus 45% bankroll gain, I believe it is, for this month at WagerTalk, which is number 1. 2 NHL plays up for tonight. I have a 5% play up for Sunday in soccer, and then obviously have soccer and NHL cards through the weekend. So you get all of those with a 3-day all access package. As far as today's show best bet, let's try and put one in the win column here. I am going to take the St. Louis Blues, but I'm going to take the Blues on the first period number, money line number, which is minus 125. So the Blues first period, I believe after losing a couple of those games to the Kings at home. They've lost 3 or 4 to the Kings thus far. So if we see Tarasenko back tonight, which I hope we do, they're going to want to get off to a good start against this Kings side. So give me the Blues minus 125 first period.
Good stuff there from Carm. And yeah, congrats to Carm. Number 1 so far in the month of March. You're looking at the guy that's number 2. So I'm just right there behind you, Carm, in the race for March. But dating back to the end of February 28th, I'm 15-2 all sports run. So really rolling with that. College hoops has been great. Yesterday, started the day off with a 2% loser in college hoops and then made it up with a 4% winner later on with college hoops and a 4% winner in the NHL. So guys, we are rolling, and don't forget to use that coupon code BIG100, $100 off for both Carmine and myself. You can get both our packages for just $249 if you use that coupon code BIG100. For me, I do want to mention, guys, I have a big 5% UFC ticket going tomorrow night. It's one of the biggest UFC cards we have seen in a long time. I can't wait to watch it. I'm already excited about it. There's going to be so many great fights, and I have one spot that I just felt the odds weren't really what they should be, guys. I have a coupon code for you. Use it. Fight20. Fight20 is going to be the coupon code to save $20 off this play. Fight20 for my 5%. Originally $40. Guys, my best bet here is going to be the over 6 Capitals and Bruins. And this is kind of the reason. If you look at this Bruins team right now, they have mainly, besides against the Flyers, they've mainly just beat up on bad teams. They've beat up on the Devils. They've beat up on the Rangers. I understand the fact that people are saying they had to play a good defensive style of hockey in order to be successful right now, but I feel like in order for them to be successful, they got to start scoring more goals. You know, they have to reach that 3 or 4 goal mark, and if they do, I think they do have themselves a dance partner with the Washington Capitals to get up and over the total of 6. Also, if you watch that game the last time they played, a lot of animosity, a lot of aggression, and I believe we'll see lots of penalties leading to lots of power plays, which will lead to goals on this game tonight. Over 6 for me for my power play tonight in the NHL, guys. We hope you enjoy your Friday night. The best bets are here on the screen. I'm with the Capitals Bruins over 6. Carmine, Blues look to keep on going here. Blues first period minus 125. Check out that package, guys. Check out that coupon code BIG100. Save $100 off our 1-month package. For Carmine, I'm Andrew. We'll see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend and best of luck.
The WagerTalk college basketball tip-off show anchored by Dave Cokin and Ralph Michaels has been a success. Dave and Ralph wanted to personally thank each and every one of you who watched the show by having a blowout college hoops special to end the season. How would you like to get every release for the rest of the regular season, all the conference tournament selections, plus March Madness through the National Championship on April 5th, or any other postseason play? Now, how about paying only $2.99? Well, $2.99 each is a very fair price, but they wanted to offer a blowout season special. If you go to Dave or Ralph's WagerTalk homepage, you'll see a $2.99 special for both cappers to get college basketball through the Final Four. Now that is a thank you.